This might be better. Hey, how's that? Is the audio working? I guess I can check myself. Audio working. I guess I can check myself. Yeah, this looks better, right? This is better. I'm going to go with it. You can go with it. It's fine. And you can see my searching for bitrate stuff. Okay, so what are you saying? Let's see. You ever learn to not act? Yeah, no, it's all good. What I'm doing today, I mean, this is actually, it's really good that you derailed me on this because part of what I'm doing is trying to get my stream set up again on this new computer, which is running Linux, so no more Windows stuff, which is a shame because Arc browser just launched Windows support. But anyway, this is the majority of what I want to be working on today, which is I have done SVG sprite work in the past, but what what I want to do now is figure out, sort of take it to the next level. So let's walk over what I've done before. Let me go to icons.js.org. Excellent place to get some icons. Hit me with some good icons. Let's do a stone. There we go. What do we got? A stone. Here we go. That's a good stone. I think I'm gonna do not colored ones. So let's grab this stone. And what do I want to do? I'll show how I've done it in the past. SVG symbol. I'm actually gonna go to GitHub/AustinGill/versus. That's gonna have something for me. Enclose that, enclose this. I'm going to go into my components. I'm going to build a new file called svg.jsx. I'm just gonna paste that in there. I don't know about that. No Mercy is not a brand that I particularly love. They do some shady shit. npmjs.org. And let's see what they got going on here. Can I see that, please? It's good to have you back, Stony. Man, what's going on with, okay. What about if I get rid of that? What if I just do this? Okay, no Mercy icons. That's what it was, because then you got to install the React folder. Holy cow, 2 weekly downloads. Man, this thing is popping off. No, so I want to see the quickest way to use these icons. I bet this is going to do the not good way of adding icons to the page. Where is this used? No Mercy TV? No Mercy.tv, right? Now see, Stony, you can't bring it up if you think, yeah, see, this is no good. This here is no bueno. This is not what we want. You need to read me. Nah, see, let me show you. We'll walk through this. So this is one way to do it, yeah? Problem with this is you end up having JSX components for your icons. I imagine this is kind of what you got going on. No, you have Tailwind just like right up in there. That's kind of weird. Also, not the way I would. Also, why are you doing text 100% transform scale 0.8? This is vanilla. Yeah, I was getting there. View-dev. Okay. So let's see. View-dev.nomercy.tv. Hero icons. Hero icons, it's not a problem with hero icons. So let's see. You got a couple icons here, right? Okay, so this is probably more like how you're using it, right? You have an SVG component that inherits the class from wherever it's used. So it's probably something like SVG Twitter bird, and then you add a class to it, right? And then it provides the fill and the view box and the aria hidden, maybe. Oh my gosh. Okay, give me a username and password then. I wonder if I might have a username and password for this. I do. I'm going to come back to that later. I'm not going to dig into that far. But basically, what folks will do is they'll do something like this, right? You'll take this stone thing, you'll copy the SVG, then you'll do something like, shoot, why did I do that? I'm getting so off the rails. Okay, let's go source, components, SVG. I'm going to copy this entire thing because it's pretty solid. Or it's pretty quick. Then we'll paste that here. And then I'm going to grab this symbol. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to put that here. Well, now let's do this. Let's do this one step at a time. The very naive version of this is to have this guy. I'll get there in a minute. Okay, what you might do is say something like, I think I'm gonna leave that stuff how it is. We would get rid of that, and then we would put something like this symbol. Technically, this view box would go on here. I don't need that. Wouldn't need the ID. Wouldn't need this SVG thing, and wouldn't need this, right? And then you'd probably do some sort of loop and say, oh, in the case of the stone SVG, we'll use this one, right? Or like this path, okay? And we probably don't need that, and we definitely don't need that for the time being. Okay, so then what you would do is in your routes, that's right, why is there a Panda CSS route? Let's see. /Panda CSS. Okay, it's just to give you an example. That's weird. But okay. No mercy. Yeah, we can keep all that stuff open. So then what I need is on my index.ts, let's say I want to import the SVG, which I'm going to do from components. I'm going to create another file called index.js, and we are going to export default as SVG from /svg.jsx. Cool. Close that. Index.ts. I want to get the SVG. No, not from there. Well, I guess I'm not going to get it. That's annoying. Import SVG. SVG. Where is it? Annoying. // components, and we're gonna get SVG. Okay, /index.js. Huh. Okay. Does the file exist? Let's see. Components. Index.js. Go up a level. Go to components. Okay, let's copy relative path. I spelled that correctly. Oh my goodness, what is going on here? Okay, if your original URL is dev URL or the preview app, I can add placeholders with the test account. I'm going to get to that, Stony, in a minute. Don't worry. I have no problem getting into the app and talking crap about it. I just trying to get this sorted. Okay. This is what I want. This is please what I want. Why isn't this working? Index. It's because it's... No, that should totally work. Inside of routes, this file should go up one level, find the components folder, and get the index file out of it. Is this a TypeScript shenanigan? I don't think this is a TypeScript shenanigan. And I am doing something that's kind of not going to be your favorite thing, is combining TypeScript and JS. But yeah. Nearest time attempt is allow JS. That's a good question. But again, that shouldn't be an issue because it's a build process thing. It's not finding routes. Wait, internal server failed to load. Yeah, it's not finding that file. But Josh, since you're here, yeah, let's see. Allow.js is set to true. Check.js is not, so I think I need to do that. True, thank you. Thank you, Josh. But I am in /source/routes/index.tsx, and I'm trying to get a directory that is one level up from routes back into source into components and pull index.js from there. It's like Stony, I did not grow up. I am not using TypeScript, except for the fact that it kind of quick uses TypeScript by default. So I did try that, right? You have components, and I just want the index.js file, which it's not finding for some reason. And I wonder, okay, restart is one thing. That's still going to lazy load and then throw the error, right? Yeah. Okay, pre-transform error, failed to load URL. Components index.js. Yeah, it should work. What if I call this component index.tsx? And then this is, and I called it TSX, didn't I? That should just be TS. I call it TJS. It's not a Trader Joe's file. Still not working. So still didn't work. Gotta spell correctly. What am I not spelling correctly? Components index.ts index.j, and JS should work just fine for the record. Import from index.js, not. Hello, my username is. Hello, is it SynDev or SignDev? Yeah, now Stony, I got that, but it's fixed now, right? So what we're working on, Sign, I'm going to assume, is we're trying to get this file to just load, getting this error that it can't find this file. From routes index.tsx, I'm trying to load /components index.ts, which we have here, routes index.tsx, trying to import from /components index.ts. pronounced with an I. That still doesn't clear it up for me. So sin. Sin, as if you wrote like S-I-N, sin. Okay. Is not valid import path unless allow importing TS extensions is enabled. Suggestion, try. Josh, I see Josh, I think you're just messing with me because I tried this a moment ago. Right. Still nothing. Still complaining that it can't find the module or its corresponding type declarations. Just call you Pi. All right, Pi. Is it Pi or Pierre? Just kidding. I know how to spell Pi or say Pi. Now index is inferred correctly again. It is maybe not. Oh man, this is the most annoying thing about modern development is like I'm not even working on the stuff I want to work on right now. I'm just trying to get the freaking things to connect. Can't even get my sentences out. Okay, let's see. This thing's gonna make me freaking speak parcel tongue. Yeah, that. This is just the sort of errors that I live for. Working on this sort of stuff. It's the best. Love it. Love my life right now. Okay, let's simplify this. Yeah. I don't even know how to simplify it. Like, the only way I can do to start over is get rid of this, right? Cool. That's going to get the app, working again. There you go. We have hi. That's working. Great. I've been working on your open source project. Need to, at some point, modernize build system. Modernizing build systems is overrated. All right. So what can go wrong? What the heck could possibly... Okay. All right. All right. Let's try and get this. Let's try and do this. Import SVG from components slash svg.jsx. There you go. Still not finding the freaking folder. Okay. All right. Let's try this. Let's import merp from ... slash components slash. Oh, snap. I'm a freaking idiot. Oh, that's so... Look, this is going to be... All right. Who knows what the problem is? Let's see if y'all can figure this out. No, Stony, it has nothing to do with your trash SVGs. They are still trash, and they aren't actually affecting... No, I'm a freaking dummy because I went in here and I right-click, or I hit this from inside this folder, inside this components folder, I did add a new file, and then I dropped in my SVG, and then I dropped in my other thing. Problem is, I was inside of the freaking router head. Even though I had this one highlighted, even though I clicked on this and I hit plus, it's going to put it inside of this freaking router heads folder. So index goes in there, move, and then now we actually have a separation of the router head, which, note to the quick team, starting the project off with this router head component inside of this router head folder, extra step that overcomplicates things, is not necessary. Also interesting that they don't do Pascal case, but nevertheless, let's go. Let's do this. Check this out. Slash, there it is. Okay, cool. That's working. That is working. No export member. Okay, that's right. That's right. Cool. Mwah. Yeah, even suggested this earlier in autocomplete. Yeah, well, move fast and break stuff, right? Okay, cool. This is the naive version of what we have, right? So we have essentially, you're good. Ooh, I don't know what happened there. There you go. You're fine. You're fine. Router head component got me. So the naive version is you might have a component with an SVG in it, and then maybe you do some sort of like for the bicycle SVG, we just swap out the path here, or maybe you swap out entire SVG elements and you have like a switch statement or something. This is a problem because, and Stony, I'm calling it right now. This is how you do it. Calling it. I know you too well, unless you did watch a couple of my live streams where we did it differently. But problem with this is all of this SVG code, and this is like a very simple one. Let's see if we can get a let's get a complex one. Who's got a recommendation for an icon here? What's the next one? Working on GPU accelerated JavaScript for advanced substation alpha subtitles. Eggplant. There we go. I'm not going to do a colorful one, but I will do this little eggplant. Love it. Oh, yeah, eagle. That's what I was going to do. E-A-G-L-E. Do we have one? Sick. All right. We're going to go. Oh, that's a good one. What was this? The random thing. That's a good one. So basically, ooh, that's not it. Oh, I didn't get the eggplant. Dang it. Let's do this badass eagle. Can I zoom in? Yeah, that one's pretty good. Ooh. That's a good eagle too. I think I'm going to stick with this one. Let's do that. So that one, copy the SVG symbol. Let's paste that there. Great. This is a perfect example. So problem with this is if you did it this way, right, you would end up with, let's say instead of this path, we have this whole path, which we don't need this symbol for anymore. We don't need this symbol. The view box here should be apparently 60. Should be 64, and then we don't need this symbol. Bam. Should be working, hopefully. Yes, we have an eagle. Looks great. So problem is, yeah, you end up with like all of this code just for an icon, and that ends up in your JavaScript bundle, which ends up increasing the amount of time that it takes to download that bundle, and the JavaScript parser has to like parse all of this code, which isn't actual JavaScript. It's JSX. It's like to render it onto the page. Not super helpful. Oh, B. Where is B? I like the use of emojis, by the way. So what do we do instead? What I'd like to do is take these symbols. I'm going to comment them out. So this is the stone, right? And what I have been doing up until now is creating something like this. I'm going to put this definitions file back into the game. We are going to replace this spinner symbol with the stone. I'm going to call this icon stone. And then we're going to grab this symbol. And where is it? Icon stone eagle, A-G-L-E. Replace this symbol. Cool. HTML attributes and component. Okay, I need to grab those really quick. 1 second. Let's go GitHub, Austin Gill /versus. I need to grab my no, not my TS config. I need in my source, I need my globals. There we go. I want this guy. Burp, burp. Just make my life a little bit easier. Let's do global.d.ts. Put those definitions in there. Close that off. Don't need that. Okay, now, yep, HTML attributes is fixed. Cool. This is complaining. So this guy's gone now. This guy's back in. This guy is gone. This guy's back in. We've got some complaints about something. Symbols type opponent never. Yeah, I'm just gonna ignore that for now. And what we've got is this SVG definitions thing. So all of that work to basically separate some things out so that I can then come to the root and put in at the bottom of my router, we're going to do SVG definitions. Thank you. And that got imported from components. .svg, that's fine. This way, what do we do? This way, what I've got is in my route. Okay, then I've got this type definition complaint because it wants me to provide, I think, an icon, and then it gives me some options of the eagle or the stone. So I'm going to put the eagle in there, and then it's complaining because it needs, what is it complaining about? It needs a alt attribute, I think. Alt, property alt is missing, yeah. So we're just going to say alt equals, and we'll just leave it empty. That's fine. Okay, so how am I doing, by the way? I'm doing freaking great. Oh, how you doing, Josh? Yeah, how you doing, Josh? Just load it with Ajax. That is a valid option. Not very developer friendly, if I'm honest. And we're gonna get into, by the end, you're gonna see my recommendation for how to do it. But let's see, Josh. On this topic, you once perf audited a site that had multiple megabytes of embedded SVGs. The biggest had 6 million characters. Whoa, yeah. See, that's a problem. Is some people, on occasion, you'll get a design from a designer, and I'm not gonna throw them all under the bus, but every once in a while, you get a design from a designer. And then as a developer, we hear, oh, SVG is better because you can put it onto the page and it takes the fill of the current color or whatever, or it can scale to different resolutions and everything. And every once in a while, you say, hey, designer, beautiful design. Mwah, love the touch. Can I get that as an SVG instead of a raster image? And they say, sure. And they just like right click, export it as SVG instead of PNG or whatever. Make sure that you're checking these files because every once in a while it'll do exactly what Josh says, which is you'll have an image that gets embedded inside an SVG, and because HTML and SVGs are both XMLs, you can actually put an image, like a raster image can be embedded inside of an SVG, which makes no sense at all. And then it just like adds even more bytes to that image. So good thing to be aware of. Also, if you're doing something that looks like raster, better to use a raster image. If you're using something that could be like less, what is a good delineator between raster versus vector? Simpler things are better in vectors. This is not working yet. Why is this not working? So let's see. We got the SVG in there. It's huge. I didn't need it. Let's see. And also in icon lab, you have individual components. Yeah, but in your player facade, I have an array of paths. Okay, so you're loading external SVGs. Still not the right way, or still not the way I would do it. Interested in how Austin's doing. I am doing well. Thanks, Josh. You know, it's funny. I can actually hear your voice asking me, which is very endearing. Austin, Stoney, I've never heard your voice. And when I was in your part of the world, you had no interest in meeting in real life. So you could just be ChatGPT. I don't know. Your CEO. Yeah. Yeah, we got some drama. We got some drama up in here. Okay. Where was I? Let's see. These are all the quick things. I want to see this. So this is found it. My mistake. Very simple problem to create, which is I did this all right, except for on my symbols, I did not put the ID that they need. Oh, whoa. Hold on. Let me call this out really quick. You see this? Do you see this icon here? This diamond icon that if I hover over? No. Yes. If I hover over, VS Code is going to show me this icon. Basically, this icon, the white diamond here, it's not actually a character typed into VS Code. It's sort of like when you have a color, like I think I might be able to do it here. Like, yeah, like VS Code does this thing where if you put in like a hex code, it will show you that color. It's showing me the icon that corresponds to the actual to the actual text here. It does, like, that character, that icon is not actually embedded. So if I type it, if I give it a different name, disappears. Pretty cool. Now the problem that I had was I am referencing this icon as icon stone, and these IDs need to match. Very important. This one needs to be called icon eagle. Okay, cool. Now that is fixed, I should see, yep, there's my eagle. Great. You have no clue what to imagine with that word. Gravelly? Oh, my name's Stony Eagle. I think that's what gravelly would sound like. Like you have literal gravel in your throat. Okay, so this is this is the version that I currently do, and I really like this because when we're talking about those embedded SVGs that we had before, like the version before, you basically had, let me see, nope, let's see, you basically have all of this, like the eagle, all of this is one icon. And if you use it in one place, there's not going to be that much of a difference. But if you use that same icon in multiple places, everywhere it's on the page, it's going to put all of this markup onto the page, which isn't great. So what we have here is you say, well, what about this one? You have this markup on the page, right? Not quite the same, because this SVG, the only thing that it has inside is this markup that you see here. It's not even, I can't even open it. It's not hiding anything else. And that's because the component that we're using, if you can look past all this red squigglies, which is really triggering me right now. Type component never is not assignable to type that. Josh, help me. Is not assignable to type never. Okay, I'm just gonna ignore that. Yeah. Anyway, if you look past this, all you can see is you have an SVG tag. You have an SVG tag opening there with a couple of attributes, and then you have inside of it this use. And all this use has is just this href. So what we get as a result is really a small amount of markup every time we reuse this. So the definition is going to actually exist somewhere further down on the page inside of this SVG element, inside of these defs, and the eagle markup is still going to exist on the page in one place, but only in one place, as opposed to every time we use this eagle. Like if I go, where is it? yes, here. If I go here and I do this, right? Now we see 4 eagles, and the entire weight of the page is much smaller than if all of these eagles were embedded every time. Now, what do we got? I don't even want to. Okay, what about lazy loading? Lazy loading is great if you don't care about. Well, 2 things. Lazy loading is great if you don't care about those images or those icons being on the page to begin with. Still, even if you lazy load, what you would have with the previous version is you would be lazy loading a JavaScript file, not an SVG file. So you would lazy load with JavaScript, pull down, or you would lazy load the JavaScript, pull it down. That would be JSX. That would then have to be, parsed and compiled, I guess. It would have to be parsed and interpreted. So it would have to be parsed and interpreted, and then the JavaScript would run to inject that onto the page somewhere. That doesn't change the fact that even once it gets onto the page, your DOM still has a lot more going on in it, which could still affect some performance. Not the worst thing, right? We're not talking about page load performance. We're talking about potentially runtime performance at that point. And still, even with this method, you could lazy load it and have a much smaller impact. So instead of server-side rendering, the entire, where is it? Instead of that ain't it. Instead of server-side rendering this entire definition block, you could lazy load some JavaScript that then pulls this down and injects this onto a page, and then your icons would show. But all of that is to say that we're going to be working on a different loading technique. Have icons only 1 per page. If you have icons, only 1 icon per page or layout, then you've got bigger performance issues to worry about. With 1 icon used in one place, it's not worth caring about, even if you're talking about the worst loading strategy versus the best. I'm talking about general purpose. You have a lot of icons across your entire site used in multiple places, and you may not know, like one-off use cases can have one-off implementations. You have not one, but no duplicates. If you have no duplicates, maybe inline is all right. I still don't love doing it with JavaScript. I would try and server-side render it, just because I think browsers are faster at downloading, and maybe not downloading HTML, but at painting HTML than they are doing the exact same page with JavaScript. So the thing probably still applies for icons. So I really don't want to offer. No, you can go away. How do I kick this person out? You. Ban. Just gonna time them out. There you go. Go away. Don't like that comment. Cool. You use Vue. Vue, same idea. So what I want to do is get this project to a point where the ideal pie in the sky, and Jacob Paris actually, spoiler alert, walks through all of these in theory. But pie in the sky idea is you want good user experience, which is going to be best for performance. You also want good developer experience, because if you have a process that is terrible developer experience, even if it produces the best user experience, the likelihood of that remaining part of the process is low. So kind of got to have good developer experience. And what does good developer experience look like? Well, ideally, I don't have to go to something like this and do this process where I'm looking specifically for the SVG symbol. More often than not, what you find is things that give you the actual SVG. So if you're dealing, oh, look at that. What is that? Desert Eagle. There you go. If you're looking for the SVG, more likely than not, it's not even a copy, and it's not even like a click to copy. It's like you're downloading a file, right? Or you're asking for it from a designer or whatever. So what I would like is a folder, let's say called icons, whatever, right? And inside of there, I want to be able to drop a file. So what was this? I'm going to call this desert eagle dot svg. That's what it was, right? So now what this should do is pretend I didn't just paste that from my clipboard, but I got this file from my designer, and this is what they handed off to me. Great. Probably, especially if I get it from a designer, it's going to have a bunch of stuff in there that's not even necessary. But what I want is this folder is being watched. When I add or remove an icon from this folder, I want it to trigger some sort of build pipeline. And what this build pipeline should do is generate a single SVG file that takes all of the SVGs in this folder and converts them to a single SVG with a bunch of symbol definitions, and pushes those somewhere into probably my public folder, because this is the directory that is accessible by going to like /favicon or /manifest or whatever. Once it's output there, then what I want to do is also, for the developer experience, one thing that I have built into this component is, again, we can see with type definitions what icons are available. So I want to have this story for consuming icons without having to like hand craft them myself. Makes sense? You're dangerous and deadly, but it requires more work than pulling a trigger. Are we? Yeah. When you've had some beans for dinner, totally. That's right. This channel is not above making fart jokes. Okay, so that's what we want to build out. Fortunately, this process, I've like had it in theory built into my brain for so long and wanted to build it out that eventually you just wait long enough and someone else with more gumption steps up and does it for you. So they actually walk through, and I'll post this in the chat one more time. There you go. And this way, if anyone wants, they can follow along with Jacob's process. But here's what we're gonna do. Okay, other cool thing about Jacob. Jacob maintains, and I met Jacob through this article, but Jacob maintains this tool called CLI, CLI, which is really awesome. Show of hands, how many people know about shadcn? And I'll wait for you for just a second. Okay, let's close that. shadcn, show me some love. Yes, shadcn. Everyone calls it shadcdn. It's not. It's shadcn. So, do you really love it? Pick a directory for Radix UI icons. Let's go. No. Let's go. Should be /source/ and I think with the subs you have on YouTube, there's no getting around it. Okay. So shadcn is really cool. The concept here is kind of beautiful. Like let's take the actual component library and the code that they produced. Ignore that. The thing that I love about it is it serves very much like an NPM registry or a package registry or like a module registry, except without all of the overhead. It provides a place for you to request and download publicly available third-party open source code, but it doesn't actually maintain a package. So if that code changes, like it allows for you to download code from the internet, inject it into your project, and then that's it. And then you can take it and adapt it from there. That's the sort of idea. And the beautiful thing about that is it's not designed for you to maintain. So if the author of these components publishes a new version, you don't get like a version bump, right? Because that wouldn't make sense, because in theory, you would have pulled down the original at some point, modified it, and then at that point, you've kind of created a branch in versions. So that same concept is what Sly is. Sly is a CLI that basically can do the same thing. I think can even pull in from that repository of components. But you have to think, for some things, NPM packages make sense, especially if they have to be maintained. Something like Express or I don't know, maybe Zod, something that is too big for like a little one-off copy and then fork, right? For things that are small, so components, icons, utility tools like Lodash, it's great to just have it download that code, and then you don't have to deal with the maintenance nightmare. So that's what I really love about this thing. I want to make some contributions to it, but I haven't yet. But anyway, that's what this thing does. And right now it's kind of mostly designed for work with icons. So that's what they are providing. That's what Sly CLI is. So what we're doing here is using Sly CLI to add Radix UI icons, and then it's asking me where those should exist. So I think I want them, browse all available icons. It's really nice. So create a folder called SVG icons in the root of your project and add some SVGs. I'm going to put it somewhere else. I'm going to put it in, it was in source. I'm going to call it, SVG-icons. Cool. So source/svg-icons. After installing, let's see, run a command. No. Save settings, sure. Okay. Also, this is my first time actually using Sly. Reinstall 2 items from that. Proceed, yes. Installing camera, check. Installing card, check. So in theory, I should now have SVG icons, and I have 3. I have my camera, I have my card, and I have my Desert Eagle, which I put there myself. Oh, that's really nice. That's a really nice start. That's a really nice way to get SVGs into your project. Now, problem is, remember this SVG thing, this is not going to work in the system that I want. Fortunately, Jacob is amazing, and the tutorial continues. So create a list of icons in your app. So first, root icons folder. Yeah, so the first thing we want to do is basically look in this folder and create the list of icons based on the file name. So we're going to use this thing called glob. We're going to do npm install as a dev dependency glob. And then, we can do this. Build icons.ts, sure. Touch build icons.ts.